Introducing on my show now, we have a special guest. Nice to have on my show, Darren Gillis on my show. How are we doing?
G'day, mate. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's nice to have you on. You've heard so much about you. We've done a little bit of research. You're an original country musical artist from Australia.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I've just released a single called "Good Girl," and I'm going to be getting out and about pretty soon on a bit of a tour. And yeah, I've just made an arrangement with work that I'm going to have a year career break to allow me to get out and take a bit more opportunity around Australia and showcase my music out and about. So yeah.
Oh, good for you. So was music always something that you really wanted to do deep down?
Absolutely, mate. It's always been a hobby in the background amongst my job as well. And more recently, probably around about from 2020, I started to record songs and my own original
Hmm.
country music. Always had a guitar in hand, mucking around around the campfire and bars and stuff
Hmm.
like that. But more recently. Getting into my own original country music, and yeah, that's the dream.
Nice. I wanted to ask, what was your day job? You're taking a break from in your job. Have you always like sung at work, with your work colleagues?
Always got the radio playing because we do a lot of miles. I'm actually a police officer,
Ah.
been a police officer for 21 years now. So yeah, I've been around some really isolated pockets all over Australia,
Hmm.
up north and central Australia, and now I'm in the great southern of Western Australia. Um, so yeah, country music's always playing in the background on our drives to jobs, and yeah, and very relatable in these places as well. Which I've taken some
Yeah.
opportunities to do shows for the locals and fundraisers and things like that. And yeah, so no, it's been good.
Respect to you, because being like an emergency worker has its challenges, especially this day and age.
Absolutely, mate. And it's a great pastime, and it's a good stress alleviator as well. And it's just been my I guess yeah, something that's sort of made some of the harder times a little bit easier to cope with as well. So, and
Hmm.
I've got some songs coming up around some mental health stuff around some of my mates as well.
Hmm.
With the Black Dog and all that sort of thing. So I'm excited about those sorts of projects coming up as well with the music. So
Right, and your new single, just getting up now, it's called Good Girl. It's just been released. It's in the rounds at the moment. It's just taken off. How well has it been received? Are you happy with how it's going?
yeah, it's been good. I've had a fair bit of airplay around Australia, and it sounds like it's reached the UK, which is fantastic, and I appreciate your support over there as well. So it's being heard beyond Australia, which is exciting. Um, and yeah, it's tracking pretty well, and I've got some really exciting projects coming up as well. Well, they've already started, so they've got some more releases coming up as well, which we'll hope to keep the momentum going and getting out there and showcasing it as well. So yeah, no, it's been
Yeah,
well received.
that's great to hear. What do you like about like internet radio, not just like local radio stations where it's kind of like restricted to like, your local stations, but like worldwide radio where it reaches all over the place. You can just listen on your phone to internet radio stations. What do you like about that aspect?
I think it's great it's fantastic to see the reach of it as well. Like to be talking to you right now, and I think the good thing about you guys is that we have a little bit more of a one-on-one like this, and sort of get a little bit more engagement as well.
Hmm.
So I really appreciate the support with that.
No worries. Also, like internet radio stations, there's less commercials as well. They're annoying, aren't they,
Yep,
on local radio?
absolutely.
Yeah, brilliant. But yeah, going back to the Good Girl, it's been described as a foot toe tapper, gaining momentum, as you say. Also, was that the angle you're trying to achieve? Getting people to get on that dance floor.
Yeah, always like to get people up if we can. It's funny you say it because I've got another project that I'm working on at the moment, or just done a video, my first country music video to a song called Drink, which is going to be released in August. And when I was doing the making of that, the people in 2J at the visitors centre, I engaged them and they said, we've actually got a line dance event in 2J the same date that I filmed Drink back in April 10, I think it was. And I said, well, I wonder if they'd like this new song, Being Good Girl, because as soon as I did it, I played it, with the guys, and I sort of noticed that it would fit for a line dancing song as well.
Yeah, line dancing.
And yeah, and I sent them the track, and they had a sold out crowd in 2J. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it to the end. I would have loved to have seen it, but I was so busy with the other project, and they actually did a dance to it. So they choreographed a dance to it, and they taught it to the sold out crowd in 2J, which is great. And they gave me the footage, which is up on YouTube as well. Yeah.
Sure, we'll check that out. Also,
Yeah.
going back to your songs as well, just looking at your stats for I'll Take to the Whiskey, that's one of your leading singles on your music catalogue. Hitting nearly 30K, that's good going.
Yeah, it's been that was one of my original ones back in the day, and I think we've really stepped it up in my collaboration with other musos, being Luke and David. We sort of work really well in the studio together when we knock these tracks up, and that was one of the early pieces where it was just kind of me and Luke, David, and then Luke came on the scene, and we've brought a lot more out with the guitar skill set that he brings to the table as well. So the collaboration's been nice.
Nice, and nice to hear. People who listen to your music always on the playlists. They also listen to Jane Denham, Sunny Cowgirls, Tom Curtin, and Bubba Bishop. Heard of any of them on your country Spotify list at all?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I saw actually that Jane Denham drop in just the other night, actually. So yeah, she's starting to take off she's been taking off in the eastern states, and yeah, there's a lot of inspirational artists in Australia that are doing very well for themselves. One of the ones that I really enjoy is Casey Barnes. He's an inspirational artist over here. James Johnson and the like, and the old schoolers like Lee Curtigan and Casey Chambers are always great to listen to as well.
Yeah. What's the Australian charts like? Here in the UK, we've got a usual commercial chart pop charts, with your with Beyonce and such. Does much alternative country make, the commercial mainstream radio these days over there, down there?
Yeah. There's a few leading the way with the ARIA charts, they call them here, and there's a few different charts for all over the mix through Australia that you can see. But yeah, the country is coming back pretty strong, and I suppose that's being driven by some of the bigger artists such as Beyonce starting to tap into it, Post Malone's starting to enter in it as well, connect with people like Morgan Wallen and those sorts of things. So yeah, I think it's definitely coming back, and you can see country is entering the charts as well. So that's good to see.
Yeah, refreshing to hear, because there's so much music out there now, and having more charts opens up the opportunity for more music to be heard, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I think a lot of people are experimenting as well, not specifically staying with one particular genre, but moving around and changing music every day. So whether country is what it used to be, or it's expanded into country pop, country rock, which is where Good Girl's sort of leading, and where I like to sit is at country rock, and I also like to experiment with the likes of songs like the one that's coming out next is Gates of Hell, and that's coming out June 21, and that's really, I'm very inspired by Johnny Cash, not just his upbeat stuff, but his slower, raw stuff, and that's where that sort of sits. So I like to experiment as well, but in the realms of just country, I suppose.
Nice, yeah. Because when Johnny Cash was think of like the Ring of Fire, Foss and Prison Blues, but he done a song called "God's Gonna Cut You Down," and that's like pure
Yep.
Johnny Class Cash.
Yeah, yeah, unbelievable artist and very diverse, and I look up to him a lot. Yeah.
And with this record as well, going back to a Good Girl again, where did the inspiration for the artwork come from with the lady on the horseback? Is that a painted image, is it?
I actually I actually cheated on that one. I jumped on this this new fandangled Bing AI creator,
Oh.
which it creates it's free. You type in what you want it to do, and it'll create something that's unique and isn't copyrighted or anything like that, and it actually creates it for you, which is quite interesting. And then I just slapped the details in there and knocked it up. But the actual inspiration behind the track comes from the lady that I'm with, Kate. So we've been together for over 3 years now, and she came into my life and changed it for the better. So that's where the inspiration behind the track comes from as well. So
Cool. Yeah, just
yeah.
looking at the image, I actually thought it was a real woman, actually. But on second glance, as you say, yeah, it was like artificial intelligence, but it does look rather authentic, put it that way.
Yeah, yeah.
And mentioning inspiration, where do you get your inspiration to write music? I read somewhere that you can get it just like writing under like a tree or somewhere.
Yeah, I love to just, being in the country, there's a river down the road called the Gordon River, and at the moment the black swans have just moved on, so that was full with hundreds and hundreds of black swans just recently. So I'll get out under a tree there and just with my pad and just muck around, and then just at home, there's on my downtime I've always got the guitar in hand. But it's funny, like even when I'm on the way to a job, sometimes I'll just have to pull over, and I've got a thousand of these little recordings that stuff pops in my head, and I have to capture it there, otherwise it's gone. You forget it later on. So that's where a lot of my stuff comes on the road, and when you're just out there and just capturing those little moments as they come.
Brilliant. Well, it seems like you're really picking up on the streams there. You've got a lot of songs under your belt as well, and it seems like you got more in the pipeline as well. So yeah, all the best to you for that.
Thank you. Thanks so
Yeah.
much for having me on the show too. I
Yeah,
much
no worries.
appreciate it.
And with your artist name Darren Gillis, people could just search you on Google or the search engines and follow you on there on all socials.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Cool.
On Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and all of the streaming apps you can think of, Spotify, etc.
And Darren Gillis, Gillis.
Yes, that's correct.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for your time today. We'll get your song played on my show now. And lovely speaking with you today.
Thanks so much for having me.
No
Appreciate it.
worries.